This is a special report from the Home Team 100.7 KLOG News Center. Joined by special guest Congresswoman Jamie Herrera Butler, House Representative of District 3 in Washington, Lindsay Cope from the Cowlitz Economic Development Council, Marlene Johansson, Commercial Banking Officer for Heritage Bank, and your host, the CEO of the Kelso Longview Chamber of Commerce, Bill Markham. Local news you can trust. Home Team 100.7 KLOG.
This is Bill Markham, CEO at the Kelso Longview Chamber of Commerce. The goal today for this program is to share critical information from experts on the options as employee, business owner, and an individual. This broadcast is powered by the Kelso Longview Chamber of Commerce, Grocery Outlet on Ocean Beach Highway, American Workforce Group, the Cowlitz PUD, and the Port of Longview, along with the Home Team 100.7 KLOG News. All great locally owned community businesses. First on our program, we're going to hear from our 3rd District Washington House Representative, Congresswoman Jamie Herrera Butler. Thanks for joining us, Jamie.
Thanks for having me.
I'll just start out with the first question. Congresswoman, how much can individuals expect to get from the COVID stimulus package?
So folks will receive a one-time tax rebate check of up to $1,200 per individual. So that's $2,400 for a married couple who are filing jointly. And then an additional $500 per child for those children with valid Social Security numbers. So there are no earned income or tax liability requirements to receive the rebate checks. The full rebate amount is available for those with incomes at or below $75,000 for individuals, and $150,000 for married couples. Now, the tax filers with adjusted gross income up to $75,000 for individuals and up to $150,000 for married couples filing jointly will receive that full payment. And then above, if people are fortunate and they make above that, filers with incomes above those amounts, the payment is reduced by about, I think it's $5 for every $100 above those thresholds up to a certain cap.
So there's a estimator tool on klog.com/estimate. This will allow you to load in your information, and you'll be able to get what your payout should be based on that information that Congresswoman Herrera Butler just mentioned. So the next question, a common rumor is that the checks will automatically be direct deposited into the bank account that you had active in 2018. Where does the money go, and is this true?
Yes and no. So the vast majority of people don't need to take any action to receive their stimulus check. The IRS is going to automatically calculate and then send the economic impact payment to those who are eligible. For people who have already filed their 2019 tax returns, the IRS will use the information there to calculate the payment amount. And for those who have not filed their tax return for 2019, the IRS will use information from their 2018 filing to calculate the payment. And then the economic impact payment will be deposited directly into the same banking account that's reflected on the tax return that's filed.
What if you don't have a direct deposit account?
So the IRS is between now and the next 3 weeks, they're going to be setting up a web portal that's going to allow us through Treasury, that's going to allow people to go online, enter their banking information so they can receive their stimulus checks.
Okay. Do people have to pay this money back?
No. This is stimulus money. You're not going to get taxed on this money. The goal is not to have to pay it back. So as long as a person has a valid Social Security number, they can receive the credit. So this means workers, those who are receiving welfare benefits, Social Security beneficiaries, and others are all eligible.
And I think you mentioned we won't have to pay a tax on it also.
Yes, that was how we put the legislation together, because the goal is not to add to someone's tax burden or liability, but to get money into folks' hands quickly, especially really those folks who are getting it. You know, I think a lot about hourly workers or people who are part-time or whose whole businesses have shut down right now. We wanted to get the money out quickly.
Okay, so we have a series of kind of quick questions that we were going to go over. So will lower income people get smaller checks?
No, everyone falls under the same maximum income ceiling, and if they have the valid social security number, they're going to get the same level of funds.
For those that receive means tested benefits, will the $1,200 count towards that?
It will not. So if you receive Medicaid or SNAP or rental assistance, we didn't want to disqualify those folks from those programs because they, earn too much. So this will not count as taxable income and will not count against you for the those means tested programs.
What if someone relies on Social Security and they do not file an income tax?
That's a good question. Yes, to that person, they will get a check. The IRS is going to use your Social Security benefit statement to determine the amount you will receive.
There are rumors that the bill will give raises to members of Congress. Is this true?
No, it's not true. The bill did set aside funds to pay for teleworking assistance for congressional staff who are obviously, like everybody else, not allowed to head to the Hill or head into offices and work. And I assume that's where that rumor may have come from, but no, members of Congress have not received a pay raise.
There has been a lot of fear surrounding the Extended Paid Leave Act and that Congress passed under the name Families First Corona Relief Act. Can you briefly touch on this?
Well, do you mean fear from as a small business or fear from an individual?
Well, I think both, actually. I think you have fear that business somehow is going to pay for this, through the FMLA or whatever it is they might have that funds this. And then Washington also has the Washington paid family leave. So I think both are a little bit nervous about that, but probably mainly business.
So from the business perspective, that's one of the reasons we worked really hard in it, and there were some last minute hiccups in the bill to make sure that there's some guards in place. When I think about small employers, I'm one that believes, in FMLA, and I believe in making sure that paid leave is something that people have access to. But I've also been very cognizant that small employers, unlike the bigs, right? You'd think of like a big corporation who offers this, they don't have an unlimited revenue stream. And so how we do that is so key. We were not setting up a new program under this bill. What we have is targeted, timely, and temporary, meaning it goes through the end of this year, and it has to be directly tied to COVID-19 or to the pandemic in general. And it's backfilled by the federal government. So the way, and a lot of these things are starting to come out, but the way it would work is, a small employer, if there's two things. You can access loans to keep your business afloat, and if you maintain your workforce, you can get those loans forgiven. Also, if you end up with an employee who has COVID-19 and gets sick and has to mandatorily quarantine, if they're eligible for paid leave, and there's a few different kind of graduated steps. There's a 2-week time frame, and then there's a longer time frame based on what happens. And there's a certain amount of income that gets paid to the employee. And then the federal government backfills the employee through tax credits. So the goal is that it's not a new program that's going to come out on the backs of small businesses, but there is going to be relief for individuals who, and maybe they don't have COVID, maybe someone in their house does, and they get quarantined. And right now, both the state and the federal government guidelines and regulations are, you need to stay home. So the federal government is the one that's going to go on the hook to backfill that cost.
Great, thank you. Is there anything that we haven't brought up today that you wanted to talk about? Oh
my goodness, there's probably so much. I want folks to know that I am spending a lion's share of my time right now on the phone, in Zoom conferences, trying to secure both more personal protective equipment for our hospitals, our first responders, for those people who are taking care of our loved ones when they're sick, and testing capability. I think I've spent I can't even calculate how much time we've spent on that, have had some good reports, have been able to get some more PPE down into Clark County, trying to get it into Cowlitz County and some of my other areas. And I think more is on the way. Have been working with everyone from the White House to the governor's mansion to just about every alphabet soup agency in between. And I'm not going to let up on that front. Secondly, I do want people to know that though, I've been in my home with my kids and we've limited everything. And I understand it's not easy to try and live life in this circumstance. And it's downright scary, some of the things we see and we read. But we are going to get through this. We are going to come out as we're going to continue to be a strong nation. I think as a community, I've been so encouraged to see people stepping up and volunteering time and efforts and just getting creative. I think a lot of the private industry around here has really stepped up to try and get masks and things into the hospitals where, some of the government supply lines haven't been good. So I want to say bravo. And then the last piece I would say, there's going to be things I know I missed, but if you go to my website, jhb.house.gov, I have probably more information than you want, but certainly information with regard to economic assistance, unemployment assistance, small business assistance, health questions, and so on and so forth. So please check my website or reach out to my office if you need help or assistance with something. It doesn't have to be COVID related. We continue to work hard, even though my staff they're all in their homes, we still are working hard on behalf of the folks here in this region.
Well, Congresswoman Jamie Herrera Butler, thank you very much for being with us today. We appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us and hopefully give some information that a lot of our listeners have not been able to get. So thank you very much for being with us. Up next with us will be Lindsay Cope with the CEDC. So business owners, employees, she'll be addressing a lot of your information and needs. Thank you again. We're going to take a quick break on KLOG Special Report. I'm Bill Markham with the Council Longview Chamber.
Grocery Outlet Bargain Market, your locally owned grocery store on Ocean Beach Highway. Grocery Outlet has been on the front lines during the COVID-19 crisis. Grocery Outlet is a proud community supporter and donates thousands of dollars a year to dozens of local nonprofits. Mike and Michelle are grateful to their amazing team of employees and customers like you. Grocery Outlet Bargain Market on Ocean Beach Highway.
Grocery Outlet Bargain Market.
Now, more than ever, our nation's ports are critical links in the supply chains moving essential goods we all rely on, like food and medical supplies. Here at home, your Port of Longview continues to move cargo in support of our local and national economies. The port's cargo docks remain open for business, and they're committed to supporting the local businesses they rely on for materials and supplies. Thank you to the medical workers on the front lines and those working behind the scenes, like our longshore and construction trade partners that keep our ports operating and the goods flowing. Stay connected with the Port on Facebook or portoflongview.com, and please stay home. Depend on Home Team 100.7 KLOG for the latest up-to-date local news and information. We're the only local radio group with a full-time newsroom. On air, online, on your phone. Home Team 100.7 KLOG and KLOG.com.
We're joined now by Lindsay Cope with the Cowlitz Economic Development Council. Lindsay, thank you for being with us today. Lindsay, you're here to tell us about resources for businesses and recommend to businesses things they can do to kind of help themselves get additional funding and get information. So take it away.
As you know, through the stimulus package and other opportunities through the Small Business Administration, there's been a lot of different information and relief targeted type programs that have come out, and there's a lot of confusion over what they're meant to do, who can apply for them, can you apply for both. So the two big ones right now, there's about $349 billion through the stimulus dedicated to these programs, is the Payroll Protection Program that I'll call the PPP, and the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, which we just call the EIDL. They're similar because they are obviously meant to get businesses through this crisis, but the primary difference is the amount of funds that are potentially forgivable and what you can use them for. So the PPP program is payroll protection, and it's meant to keep people on the payroll. So if the employers apply for this and they use it for those wages, they're keeping those employees out of the unemployment insurance. And those are more than likely going to be forgivable. Those loans, they've been changing. What they are originally was a 10-year term. It came out this morning that it's a 2-year term, but it's a lesser interest rate. So at the end of this, after you get applied through your qualified lender, if you use those for payroll, they'll likely be forgiven. But you can also use it for rent, utilities, healthcare, your standard operating type things. And then there's the EIDL, which is through the Small Business Administration as well, but you have to apply through that online. And that is meant to help these businesses financially recover from losses sustained. So right now, if you apply for it, or you applied before Monday, you need to reapply for it. You can get up to a $10,000 grant, regardless if you're approved through the EIDL. However, you can use those funds for a menagerie of things related to your business, keeping your supply chains whole, inventory, getting back up and running. However, these programs are first come, first serve. So $349 billion sounds like a significant amount of money, but with an average of 60 counties in every state and 50 states and territories, chances are it'll go fast. So we're encouraging people to apply.
Lindsay, can you apply for both?
You can apply for both. However, you have to keep records. Treat both like a regular loan. Treat it like you're going to have to pay it all back. If they give you a grant, great, awesome, they forgive the debt. However, some of those things are going to be determined on the back end, and we don't really know completely what that's going to look like. And make sure that you're not double dipping. So don't use both for, say, payroll. Use the payroll protection program if you get it for that specifically. Don't use the EIDL for that. And then just keep detailed records about where that went and how you paid it out so that you could apply for forgiveness on the back end.
So when should I apply?
Now, yesterday, as soon as you can. So the EIDL has been open for a couple of weeks, and that's through the SBA website.
But you need to apply again for it. Is that right?
If you applied before this last Monday, so the 30th, you need to go back on, and there is a new link, which we will publish to the CEDC's Facebook, which you could find on their website yourself. And that they've reconfigured the process. So if you applied before Monday, reapply for the EIDL. And if you're interested in the payroll protection program, you need to contact your financial agency and find out if they are a qualified SBA lender, because they're not all qualified SBA lenders. And they will kind of have a list of documentation for you to have ready. Now, those funds they've been saying are going to be accessible as soon as Friday, but it looks like it's going to be more middle of next week. So you'll need to talk to your financial advisor about that.
So I guess the next question is really, is there a danger in waiting? And it sounds like there is. So waiting to see what happens before I apply. Can a business wait and see? What's the ramifications if they wait?
Sure, you can wait. The ramifications are that there's no money when you decide that you need it. The EIDL program is supposed to have a quicker turnaround on that $10,000 grant if you are eligible for it. However, the application process and approval process at this time, they're saying a minimum of 3-week turnaround to tell you if you're even approved for it. And then you have to wait for the funds. The payroll protection program, however, is supposed to be a faster turnaround, but we don't know when they're rolling that out completely to the qualified lenders. So you risk potentially they're not being funding for you. And if this goes on longer, which at this point, I think that everybody should kind of be erring on the side of caution, that we're looking at a minimum of 3 months before things return to whatever kind of normal we're looking at. You might not need it to get through the next 4 weeks, but what about 8, 12, 16 weeks? You're better to have it and put it into your account and pay it back if you don't need it than you are to apply for it and it not be available. And now what are you going to do?
So what else can a business do besides applying for these grants and these SBA loans and things like that? What else can a business do today?
There's a variety of things. This is a great opportunity to identify your largest sellers and how you sell them. Diversify your products and your selling platform. Have you had a social media presence? Is that appropriate for you? Is it something you've considered doing, but you just haven't quite got there yet? If you don't sell online and you have a product that can be sold online, it's a great opportunity to get that up and running, because you can still mail things. You can still have some curbside if you're an essential business. So we've got a lot of businesses that are looking at what they sell, how they sell it, where they sell it, and how they can adjust those types of different activities. And communicate with your vendors, communicate with your customers, communicate with your chambers, your CEDC, your financial advisor, all of them. Have you talked to your small business groups? There's LaTip and the Downtowners and a variety of different people that at the end of the day are there to bolster business. Have you joined them? Have you seen how the chamber could help you with a radio spot or membership? Everybody is really, they want to buckle down and not spend, which I understand, but people aren't going to remember to shop with you if you don't remind them that they're there. So appropriate advertising, marketing, contact your radio folks, and plan, strategize, visualize. If you're at a standstill, how are you going to hit the ground running the minute that you can reopen? Have a plan. Have your employees send an email, ask for input. Don't just wait. You're going to be behind if you do that. So, and partner. I cannot stress that enough. See if there's different kinds of giveaways, promotions, items, ways that you can partner with other businesses so you're not exerting all of your financial resources on marketing and advertising when you could partner with another business to do the same thing.
We've been talking with Lindsay Cope with the Cowlitz Economic Development Council. Lindsay, thank you very much for your leadership and everything you're doing to kind of help business in this arena. And we also want to thank the CEDC for being a huge leader in this process. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Marlene Johansson with Heritage Bank. And she'll be giving expert tips on how to navigate these loan programs that Lindsay was just talking about. Stay tuned here at Hometown 100.7 KLOG.
Hi, this is Julie from American Workforce Group. AWG would like to say a big thank you to all the healthcare workers, first care responders, and essential workers that are working so hard. We appreciate all you are doing for our community. AWG remains open and is offering video and phone interviews for essential jobs in our community. Please visit our Facebook page or contact our office at 360-200-4900. That's 360-200-4900. American Workforce Group, built on relationships, backed by integrity.
Depend on Home Team 100.7 KLOG for the latest up-to-date local news and information. We're the only local radio group with a full-time newsroom. On air, online, on your phone. Home Team 100.7 KLOG and KLOG.com. The Cowlitz PUD is working towards expanding how they can assist customers during this difficult time in our community and our nation. The Cowlitz PUD understands the economic hardship this can put on their customers. If you are struggling with your bills or anticipate struggling with your bills, please call a customer service representative at 360-423-2210. That's 423-2210. Or visit online at cowlitzpud.org. We're in this together, and we can get through this together. Cowlitz PUD, your power.
You're back on KLOG. I'm Bill Markham with the Celts Longview Chamber, joined by Marlene Johansson from commercial banking officer with Heritage Bank. Marlene, thank you for being with us and helping us navigate the SBA program.
Thank you, Bill. First off, I want to remind everyone that I am not officially speaking for Heritage Bank or trying to sell anything to the listeners. I can encourage you to work with your current bank, and my goal here is to provide basic information on how a bank generally and the banker specifically thinks, acts, and is constrained, so that you can most efficiently in your asks as well as that you can now know what is readily possible for your business as of today. What is true today will change in the near future as the government and private support programs and efforts are put in place, and that's okay. My view is that the business owners need to avoid being frustrated as much as you can while actively advocating for your business needs. There are things that you can do now with the banks and the SBA to figure it out.
So, Marlene, what do you want to tell our members and other small businesses about, in general about the SBA?
Well, first off, today's April 2nd. The SBA is going at Star Trek Warp 5 speed to try and implement the bill the Congress just passed and the president just signed on Friday of last week. Never have they had to work this fast or this big before. Any mistakes that they could make could kill or harm businesses, and they know it. They tend to be a cautious group normally, so it's really hard for them to do these programs and put them into place so quickly. The programs they're putting in place are meant to help sole proprietors, small to medium-sized services, manufacturing businesses, and nonprofits. One size doesn't fit all, but they are trying to shoehorn all these groups that they've never served before into their business templates based on their history. It is daunting, and they are doing this all while trying to be good steward to our current and future tax payments into the government. They are accountable. They know they will be criticized no matter what they do, so they're trying to balance all of that.
So, Marlene, a scary part for some of our members is that, they contact me saying, I've got payroll next week. How do I make that work? And so I don't have any answers. Can you help them with that?
So the biggest thing, and I've said this for years, is contact your banker. Let them know you want to access the payroll protection plan. It's the PPP loan that you'll hear about and that everyone is talking about. You need to get on their list so they know to send you the application form as soon as it's developed. While each bank has their own process of administering their loans, they go out under PPP, which banks will be compensated for by the government in the same way. There should be consistency in pricing no matter where they go. This is not the time to shop for the best deal. It's going to look pretty much the same from financial institution to financial institution. With that, I can't speak to what the processes are at other financial institutions or what they're putting into place, but I know Heritage Bank is trying to find efficiencies and tracking of the request, which will lessen the burden on our customers if we already have information in our files needed for the application.
So, Marlene, my understanding is the application process doesn't start until hopefully Friday.
Could be Friday.
Could be Friday. If I'm a small business, what can I do between now and Friday so that when I do go to see my financial advisor or financial institution, I've got it ready. I've already pre-planned it.
Well, so the key, like I said, is for the customers to be ready. We're going to have multiple requests for information. Have your financial statements, that prove you're eligible for the PPP. We're going to need to know your payroll dollar amount figured out, and that is probably changing daily as well. Just be ready to go because the bank will need to know that. Ask the banker to allow you to overdraft your account if necessary. The biggest thing is if you're paying your payroll and you're worried you're not going to have the funds in there, contact your bank. And if they try and call you, answer the phone, because the more you communicate, the more leverage there'll be in that.
Okay. So I guess one of my questions is, how do they know if it's going to be, I guess, not, I'm lost on my wording here, but trying to, they're going to forgive the loan. And so I hear a lot of our members saying, well, I don't know if I want to apply because I may have to pay it back. And I don't know what the parameters are in order to know whether I'm not going to have to pay that back or not. And so they are holding off applying. Is there anything you can give them to, really say, it's better to apply and figure it out from then? You don't have to take the money. Is that my understanding?
Now, I know on the EIDL, you don't have to take the money. I haven't heard that specific wording on the PPP loan. But just to reiterate what Lindsay said is you need to apply. Because I think ultimately businesses will be impacted. It could be 2 months from now, it could be 6 months from now. So anything that they can do to get help is great. As far as the forgiving of loans, we don't have the specifics on that yet. So I can't even speak to it because I don't want to give the wrong information.
Okay. So what else? Anything else you would like that we haven't covered to kind of help our businesses know what they should be or could be doing right now?
I can't stress enough that you need to over communicate, advocate for your business, but understand that what you're asking for is overwhelming the system. Be organized in your ask to make it easy on us bankers, to give you what you need. Document all your communications, who you talked to, what they spoke about, and then keep track of any early conversations. Communicate via email. I mean, anything you can do to stay in front of the banker to let them know you're interested. And I would think the other thing is just be kind, be persistent, but when you communicate, but remember we have all the businesses in the community coming at us at one time, and we are trying as hard as we can to get everybody in line for one of these loans.
Well, thank you, Marlene. I guess, it's a ticking clock, and also we just don't know all the parameters. So I think as has been said here today, there's a lot of good news, but you have to act. You as a business have to get out there. You have to act. As I think Lindsay said, 349 billion reasons to get out there and try and make sure you fill out the forms and get everything processed and get ready to process when some of them are there. So there's good news. We're moving forward. The government has come through with these packages that are going to help you, help your business, and but it doesn't do any good if you don't act. So start the process.
Absolutely.
So again, thank you, Marlene, for being with us today, and all of our guests. We appreciate it very much, and we encourage our listeners to tune in next week for updates and more information. Local isn't where you are, it's what you do. Home Team 100.7 KLOG. Thanks for being with us, everyone.
Now, more than ever, our nation's ports are critical links in the supply chains moving essential goods we all rely on, like food and medical supplies. Here at home, your Port of Longview continues to move cargo in support of our local and national economies. The port's cargo docks remain open for business, and they're committed to supporting the local businesses they rely on for materials and supplies. Thank you to the medical workers on the front lines and those working behind the scenes, like our longshore and construction trade partners that keep our ports operating and the goods flowing. Stay connected with the Port on Facebook or portoflongview.com. And please stay home, stay healthy. When you need to know the latest on COVID-19 and how it affects you, you can depend on your locally owned radio stations, Home Team 100.7 KLOG, Cookin Country, and 101.5 The Wave. We're the only local radio stations with a locally run and locally staffed full-time newsroom. We're committed to getting you the most accurate information all day long, on air, online, and on your phone. Depend on us. Home Team 100.7 KLOG, Cookin Country 105.5 KUKN, and 101.5 The Wave, your locally owned radio stations. The Cowlitz PUD is working towards expanding how they can assist customers during this difficult time in our community and our nation. The Cowlitz PUD understands the economic hardship this can put on their customers. If you are struggling with your bills or anticipate struggling with your bills, please call a customer service representative at 360-423-2210. That's 423-2210. Or visit online at cowlitzpud.org. We're in this together, and we can get through this together. Cowlitz PUD, your power.
Hi, this is Julie from American Workforce Group. AWG would like to say a big thank you to all the healthcare workers, first care responders, and essential workers that are working so hard. We appreciate all you are doing for our community. AWG remains open and is offering video and phone interviews for essential jobs in our community. Please visit our Facebook page or contact our office at 360-200-4900. That's 360-200-4900. American Workforce Group, built on relationships, backed by integrity.
Grocery Outlet Bargain Market, your locally owned grocery store on Ocean Beach Highway. Grocery Outlet has been on the front lines during the COVID-19 crisis. Grocery Outlet is a proud community supporter and donates thousands of dollars a year to dozens of local nonprofits. Mike and Michelle are grateful to their amazing team of employees and customers like you. Grocery Outlet Bargain Market on Ocean Beach Highway.
Grocery Outlet Bargain Market.
This has been a special report from the Home Team 100.7 KLOG News Center. The special report is now available online on klog.com. Local isn't where you are, it's what you do. Home Team 100.7 KLOG.